Hi, I'm Raju Tungana, student ID 3036083. I am a student of Federation University, currently studying at IIBIT campus Sydney. As a part of curriculum for ITECH 7415 master project, me with my team did a project to create a web application for our client loyal partner. And to create the project, we were being guided by our lead lecturer, Dr. Ahmed Said, our supervisor, Ms. Sarita Koirala, and the client representative, Mr. Godli Chakapan. Before explaining about our project, let's know about our client. Our client was loyal partner, and loyal partner is a business which was established in 2015, mainly focusing on providing convenient and affordable accommodation to the professionals who visit Sydney for the business purpose or for the personal visit for long term or short term. And for this they provide a variety of luxury accommodation services based on the budget of the customer. Currently they are operating and providing services to their customers through their phone calls, or taking the request through phone calls, through emails, through their partner travel agents, or from the direct visit of the customer to their office. So to overcome this traditional method of providing service, they wanted a system which was to be capable of taking the booking request from the users, providing detailed view about the property to the users, letting user to save the property, providing effective and reliable communication between the users and the property manager. And from their side, they wanted the system to let them add property, modify the detail about the property, assign the property to the new property manager, delete property, and confirm the booking of the users, cancel or reschedule in along with the required features like taking the deposit from the users, sending reminders, sending notifications about the booking, sending automatic reminder about the upcoming bookings, and many others. So for the same, me with my team, we developed a web application using React.js and Laravel. React.js is a JavaScript framework which uses component based programming, and it is fourth generation programming language where the coding is done by writing the components, and the components can be reused and recycled again. So we need to write less number of code than in other traditional HTML. And the front end which was designed was linked with the API for the functionality, and those API were developed using Laravel framework or PHP. We chose Laravel and React.js because they are the most demanded programming language currently in the market. So when doing the project, we first started by writing the project storyboard. In the project storyboard, we mentioned about our understanding of the project from the documentation which we were provided by the college about the project. We wrote about the objectives, the number of the possible stakeholders, the number of the points that would justify for being the project to be successful, the expected product, and the possible user stories which would be there in the system, as well as the project scope and the communication plan with the clients. In addition to that, we also defined some of the assumptions of risk factors and the possible dependencies that would be there in the system. When the project storyboard was finalized and was looked after by our lead lecturer and the client, then we made a project roadmap, and the project roadmap was actually the blueprint for developing the project. We had mentioned all of our objectives or of our user stories, the time plan, the planning of the time, the Gantt chart, and dividing of the sprints. As this project was developed using the agile methodology, we divided complete whole task into 3 sprints, and we planned for each sprints, wrote about the possible milestones that we will be having in the system, wrote the plan for delivering the system to the client, and next, after completion of the roadmap, then we moved into the sprint 1, and sprint 1 was actually carried out to complete the most of the major tasks of the major features of the system. The sprint 1 contained most of the features which the user had asked for, including the login and register of the register functionality for the user, viewing the list of the properties, booking the properties, as well as sending messages to the property manager. And from the property manager side, the system was able to provide login and register, as well as add property, delete property, or update property, assign the property to the new property manager, and many other. So these were actually the high priorities user stories, and these were the main features asked by the client. And in our next sprint, and the first sprint was successfully completed, and client was really very happy with our progress. And in second user story, second sprint, we carried out the tasks that were less important than not less important, but had less priority than the first sprint, but were important to provide the full feature for the application. The system, the user stories included searching, letting user to search by property, by price, by location, by features, and letting user to view the detailed photos of the property, sending notification to the user about the upcoming booking or the booking confirmation, or cancellation of the booking, and letting user to send the feedback. In addition to that, then letting client to reschedule for the booking, or letting user to modify the booking time period, and many others. So this sprint was also carried out successfully, and after this sprint, we moved into our third sprint, or the final sprint, where we finalized everything and added those features which were not actually in the requirement list, but we put those features to make the application of very high standard web application that would be competitive in the market and will be according to the current market demand. And for the same, we added a feature for providing reliable communication between the client and the user. In this sprint, we let user to manage their profile, we added a section in the property detail for user to send message to the client, to user to send message to the property manager. In property manager section, we provide a section for property manager to write email or send message to the user. Then the property admin, the admin of the system would be able to send the promotion message to the user, and then the property manager was able to filter out the property according to the location, and even look after the data that were in the system. Even the property manager and property admin, the system admin, they could go through all the data about the users, about the property in the system, and plan for the business as well. So after finishing this sprint, the system was a complete system with all of the features required by the client. In addition to that, with the competitive features to make the complete system. When the system was completed, the client was really very happy, and they gave a very good feedback to us. We carried after the completion of the project, we handed over we showed the demo to the client, and to talk about our further progress, we made a documentation about the project. And in the documentation, as I was a lead developer for the project, I was mainly involved in writing of the technical parts like limitations, future scope, the conclusion, the findings, about the details about the framework, about the programming languages, and the testing part. And in addition to that, even I was the Scrum Master, so I helped my friend in the topics or in any of the section of the project write-up to in case they had any issues, or if they didn't understand anything or need idea from me. So I was in close contact with the client and supervisor, so I was able to give the idea to my friends for the project write-up as well. So by doing this project, what I learned is first thing is whatever I studied in my previous semester, I learned to utilize it in the real world project. Whatever the features, the ideas like making Gantt chart, work breakdown structure, writing the ER diagram, making ER diagram, planning, even planning, requirement collection, analysis, design, development, implementation, maintenance, everything were implemented in this project. And being the lead developer, I learned how to do the coding in React.js and Laravel. This was the first time I did coding in Laravel and React.js. In addition to that, I learned how to manage a team, how to work in a team, how to manage a team, how to assign each of the team members the tasks in which they have their expertise on. Further, I learned how to meet the strict deadline for the project, how to cope up with the requirement provided by the client, how to give the ready product to the client, and satisfy the client with their requirement, deal with their changing requirement, and convince them about impossible features. So this is what I have learned from this project, by doing this project. And if we had time, we could have made some more better things, are added more better features in the web applications, like providing SMS notification, adding the information about the users who call from the phone, and don't book from the system itself. But due to the lack of time and due to lack of the requirement also, so we ended up making the system booking solution which is competitive in the market and can be very profitable for the loyal partner when they implement it. So thank you, our lead lecturer, for providing this opportunity. Thank you to our client for all the suggestions and the feedback. Thank you to supervisor for providing help with ideas and support in programming as well as other things. And thank you all of my team members, Deep, Sushant, Ranjit, for providing the full support to complete this project and make a very successful project. Thank you.